Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Byron Gatsby. And what we're going to talk about with him, besides his journey in real estate and business, is we're going to talk about how to build a real estate business that actually works, right? He's going to lay out the blueprint for us, guys. Remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs, 2 to 5x their business. We do that by providing the tools and resources to grow that business they want to have, which helps them live the life they want to live. So Byron, man, welcome to our show.
Thanks, John, man. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. I'm definitely a fan of Investor Fuel podcast. I was just telling you how I admired just even the process of connecting with me, just the professionalism. And I'm just excited to be here, man. Thanks for having me, for sure.
I love it, man. I love it. And we're glad to have you on here. And I'm super excited to talk about, how to really build that business that works. Because, a lot of people out there might be frustrated, and that might help them kind of push that needle up. But before we talk about all that, give our audience a little background about you, your experience in real estate and business and kind of what got you to today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So even before getting into real estate, what led me to the real estate industry was my background in sales and marketing, right? So I always tell people that sales and marketing is the foundation to any business, right? I wholeheartedly feel like that. I actually ran an AT&T franchise for 5 years in two different markets, Dayton, Ohio, and St. Louis, Missouri, where I built sales teams, right? And so I ran an office for 5 years, and I was young. I experienced a high level of success, to say the least. And I didn't really understand the personal development aspect of things, right, at that point. Right. So I got success very quickly just by being a student, right? And just a fast learner, a hustler, entrepreneur. And I got to a high level of success, and once I got there, I kind of spiraled, right? So I spiraled, and I had to shut down my business. And so
now, real quick, what do you mean spiraled, right? Explain that a little bit.
Well, what I mean by spiraled is I go from this entry-level sales and marketing rep, right? So I started off as an entry-level rep, just taking on an opportunity, right? And the opportunity was to learn the business, scale, and grow. But everybody starts off entry-level. So, I was working, I was in it, and I actually became number one sales rep in the country for AT&T and DirecTV on our campaign twice, right? And so a surreal change in my life happened because I didn't know what I was doing when I became number one sales rep. I was just doing, right? Yeah. But when I hit this milestone, it hit me so hard, and I had to kind of wake up and start to really pay attention to what was happening and where I was going. And so I remember kind of like shunning it off, like, oh, number one sales rep in the country. I don't care nothing about that. And one of my good friends who was working with me at the time, Devin, he came up to me and he's like, hey, B, you number one sales rep in the country for DirecTV and AT&T out of thousands of reps, man. You got to wear that. You need to wear that. That's huge. And I'm still like not there. I'm still like
Right.
shutting it off. Like, man, I don't care about that. He like, no, you need to wear that.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
So I just remember going from that day and that moment, and that's just being in my head. Like, I need to wear this, I need to wear this, I need to wear this. But I didn't know how to wear it, right? So I came to realize this later. But I did dive into it. And so just fast forward the story, you know, our national conference had came up shortly after I got this achievement. Mm-hmm. And so I arrived at the national conference and my face is plastered everywhere, right? So it's this big national conference for the sales reps that they have. Yeah. And my face is everywhere in the conference, right?
Instant celebrity.
Yes, right. Humbly, right? And so these people, everybody's running up to me. Hey, Byron from Michigan, you never won sales rep in the country. What's working for you, man? What's working for you? So I had to figure out what was working for me, right? And what I realized was, first and foremost, what was working for me, John, is I realized I had a great student mentality, right? If I could be introduced and see something, I could do it, right? And so my student mentality is what I realized what was really working for me. But even outside of that, I realized it was just my natural energy and excitement about what I was doing. I was excited. I was excited about selling cable to people inside of Walmart, inside of big box retail stores. I was excited. So I realized I was the person smiling every day. I realized I was the person willing to give a compliment because I was inside of big box retail stores where I started, like Sam's Club, Walmart, Best Buy, Menards. And I speak to hundreds of people daily, right?
Sure.
And so I'm like, I got to make the best out of this, right? So my energy that I was giving out, that I realized that when I looked around everybody in the store, nobody else had the energy, even the people that actually worked in these retail stores, right? They don't greet the customer. They don't ask them too much, you know, can I help you with this? They don't really care about the customer's experience, right?
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to create an experience with everybody that I encounter in this place. So to jump, right? So I realized that was how I was getting this thing done and became #1 sales rep in the country. So fast forward from there, I'm wearing it, right? So I get an opportunity to build and get my own franchise office. So I go from, you know, an entry-level sales rep in my partner Dan Bazine's office to having my own franchise office. And I go from, you know, I train and develop people, right? I had to. This is my team, my staff. And I had five young sales reps move with me from Michigan, Ohio to start my first office. And so I was training them. Like, when you think about, this is important in the story, right? Because when you think about sales and marketing in your business, a lot of times I notice that people are too focused on the business itself, and they're getting ready away from just simple, practical people skills, right?
Yeah.
Connecting with people, identifying strengths and weaknesses. How can I get somebody to be their best? So I realized through developing my team that when I spoke about just the business, they did okay. But when I spoke about their personal habits, talents, skills, and things that would get them to the best results, when that clicked in, they got great results, right?
Right.
And so I'm learning, I'm moving. So I go from myself and 5 reps, so I got 40, 50 reps in my office at any time, right? And the same habits transferred with me from being the #1 sales and a rep, because I was a top 5 owner out of the campaign. Out of about 90 owners on my retail campaign, I was constantly top 5 owner for my first 2 years as an owner. So I'm winning cars, I'm winning awards and things like this. Well, to answer your question, what I came to realize was that I didn't know anything at all about business, about having money, about being successful. Only thing I knew when I got all this money, I got hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm running a multi-million dollar company, and all of a sudden I got all of this money here. And I realized that I didn't know anything about money besides what I wanted to spend it on.
Yep.
Right? That's
Yep.
all I knew. I didn't know about investing. I didn't think about investing. I didn't know who to talk to about investing. It wasn't even in my mind. And I was I was young, right? And I was
Mm-hmm.
having so much fun just having these victories that when you ask me how did I spiral, that's how I spiraled.
Got it.
I literally just started doing everything that my childlike mind wanted to do with the success, right? So I
Sure.
started gambling crazy.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I started traveling every single place, spending money just on experiences that I think I got. I'm
Yep.
taking friends, family to concerts, to plays. I'm booking, large estates to stay at. I'm just living way beyond my means, but I didn't comprehend that because I'm thinking what I'm saying? I'm thinking I'm big stuff. I'm thinking I'm set forever, right?
Yeah, right.
So what happened is out of about a consistent 2 years of that, these spiraling habits caught up to me and overran me, right?
Mm.
So now the gambling is my addiction. It's,
Yeah.
it's pulling me. Now I'm drinking with that, it's pulling me. Now I'm going to these concerts, I'm going to these parties, I'm going to these plays. And what I was doing was I had completely forgot about my business.
Yeah, you
Right?
weren't focusing on the business. Yep.
I wasn't focused on the business. I was
No.
leaving my staff to run my office for weeks at a time. The same habits that got me there, I had completely let go. And I was relying on my team now. I was trying to force them to grow and now just throwing them into positions they weren't ready for
Yeah.
just so I can get away and be free and mess off, right? And
Right.
so that caught up to me. And, you wake up. I remember waking up in 2018 with a knot in my stomach because I'm sitting in my office and I realized that the happy spirit, the happy energy, all that I talked about that worked for me.
It was
Now
gone.
I'm in the office, just don't want to be there, right? Now
Yep.
I don't want to do morning meetings anymore. So I found myself with a knot in my stomach, and I'm in my office now just watching TV and I became very, very grumpy, right? Because I realized I was just up here and now, I sabotaged myself and I woke up like, oh man, what's going on?
Right.
So if anybody knows anything about business, we're all entrepreneurs. I'm sure tuned in is that one thing about business is you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, right?
Yes, sir.
Because I was out of state. I got this everything invested in my office. I got my home, everything invested out here, but my business is failing, right? So I'm like, I'm getting down to, I say I got down to right at a 60K threshold completely in my business, where I had to make a decision on do you pull out, right? Because I gotta check my office down. I gotta move my family home. Do you pull
Yep.
out and just walk away now, or do you fight, right? So I remember just getting on a call with the heads over at Sidcore and AT&T, and then I tell them what I was going through, and obviously they could see it, right? They're
Yeah.
watching everything, right?
They can watch the numbers.
Yeah, they're watching the numbers. So they're like, well, you know what to do. We know you can do it. You can pick yourself up, you know what I'm saying, and rebuild your office and implement those habits. But I was just so far gone, right? So
Yeah.
my mouth told them I was going to fight, but I was finished, right? So I pretty much from there finished the self-sabotage, right? So I finished the self-sabotage, the escape, more gambling, more just kind of like it's over to the point where I had to shut the business down and with a lot less than that 60K, right? But just enough for
Right.
me to close my office, move my home and my family back to Michigan.
Right.
So that's how I spiraled. But this story leads to how I got into wholesaling and real estate,
That
right?
was my next question. Where did real estate fit into all this?
Right. So this is my story, John. So where the real estate came in, as I was spiraling, I'm on the phone with my brother, my business partner, right? So we're like brothers. We grew up together 20 plus years, and we would be talking every day just as family. You know what I'm saying? And he was a licensed realtor. So he had been in the real estate industry at that point for right around 8 years, right?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
But what was going on is when we were talking while I was kind of doing my thing and going through my transition, he had discovered wholesaling, right? So now our conversations when we're talking about business and what's going on, he wasn't talking the same. He wasn't talking about, the 3% commission and the realtor side of things. He started telling me that he discovered this new transaction, pretty much this new thing in the real estate industry called wholesaling, and he was making tens of thousands of dollars transactions, right?
Yeah.
So I know I'm going down out this business, but I'm an entrepreneur, right? So my brain is clicking like, man, I know this guy. I know he's not just talking, right? And I see that he's getting these results, right? So I'm more and more just kind of listening to him now because I'm looking for my next opportunity, right?
Sure,
And I did have a chance to go on a retrain and rebuild my franchise, but I was out. My heart was out of the game. I was embarrassed at this point, right? So I wasn't gonna go on a retrain just from coming from where I came from and be back in the store. It would have been a real humble act, but I just scrapped that and I'm like, hey, I'm on to my next venture, right? And what was unique about it is I realized that I didn't do any investing. I didn't ask anybody about real estate. I didn't buy any properties or anything. And I had, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now when I'm hearing this, my mind is like, real estate, he's making tens of thousands of dollars. And at a minimum, I'm used to, like I said, sales and marketing and working on commission, right? So I know if he can get these results, I can get these results if I can learn this business, right? So shout out to he's still my partner today, Sean Barganier. We own Top Tier Solutions together. We've been running our wholesale business, a multi-million-dollar business for over the last 6 years, since 2019, since I started over. And Sean just really, he really showed me the game, and how he discovered wholesaling was it was crazy, right? Because he had been a realtor, like I said, for 8 years, right? But he was now starting to say, hey, he wanted to pick up his first investment property, right? And he shares this story with our team, right? He was trying to find out his first investment, and he got his first investment from a wholesaler. So he was a realtor for 8 years, but knew nothing about this side of the business whatsoever. And
Not many do.
They don't, right? And a lot of that blows a lot of people's mind. A lot of realtors don't know about the wholesaling strategy and part of the business. So Sean was like, hey, this guy sold me a deal, right? And he had to put down a $3,000 earnest money deposit. And he's like, and on the realtor side of things, when I get a deal, because the deal didn't go through, right? But the guy kept his $3,000 earnest money deposit, long story short, right? But this is where Sean learned. He's like, on a regular realtor transaction, $3,000 EMD, something goes wrong, they get this back, right? On this transaction, not only did this investor complete the transaction, and he would have made $8,000 off of a $50,000 deal if he completed the transaction, but he didn't even complete the transaction and threw a
still made $3,000.
I keep my earnest money deposit for $3,000. And he's like, what is this, right? So he started to dive into the paperwork. He started to dive into the contract that he had signed, and this is where he discovered the assignment contract and began that journey to learn the wholesaling business, right?
Got it.
And so here I am, right? Here I am just this star. I was the star of my family. I was the most successful person in my network, in my community, right? But here I am just from all the way up there, and now I'm right back down here sitting on my couch figuring out what I'm going to do, right? And so I locked into the wholesaling, man. I dove in, and this is the advice when we're talking about building a business, right? I'm breaking it down in layers, right?
Yep.
If you heard the first part of my story, I would definitely say, it says, it's a quote that says, when you really want to be successful, you got to stay tapped into that childlike spirit, right?
Yep.
So my
Stay
first piece
excited.
of advice is be excited about what you're doing, right? Even if that's the learning process. You have to be excited about what you're doing, because if you're not excited about what you're doing, you're not going to get far, right? But if you're excited to get far, like that childlike spirit, you know, when a child is ready to ride that bike or ready to learn that sport, nothing can stop them, right? They fall,
Exactly.
they get back up, nothing can stop them. So the first thing is keep your energy right, right? Get excited about what you're doing. And if you can't get excited about what you're doing, find something else to do. That's my first piece of advice, right?
I agree.
Because if you're in the industry, right, and this is how I became #1 sales rep in the country, I was competing, right? If I'm in the industry and thousands of people, and I used to tell my team this, John, all the time, when they would get down and try to complain about why they couldn't get results, I would simply say, hey, man, listen, we all do the same thing for a living. What's the difference between me and you? Right? Because I wanted them to look at this like, hey, man, listen, we're all following the same structure, the same set of rules, the same. It's the game is right here, right? Yep. So if we're all doing the same thing for a living, what's the difference between me and you? And that's how I became successful. Is
work
because
ethic.
I always looked at the people who were having success in that industry, and I would say, hey, what's the difference between me and this guy? And my brain would just click. He got to be working harder than me, right? He has to be more knowledgeable on the subject than I am, right? Because he has to have strategies that I don't have, right? He has to be excited about it. I never made an excuse for why I couldn't get the results. I just compared on a positive level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I would encourage people first to take that concept to that excitement. The other thing I talked about is that student mentality. That's what I mean, right? By comparing yourself amongst industry leaders, amongst greats, while we're always talking about, you know, the network and the community. And that's why I was just so excited to even come on this call and this platform, because I'm excited. I get to meet people who are in my same industry, and I get to build with them. I get to share stories. I get to share that energy, because I understand where we're all looking to go, right? So why wouldn't I be excited about that, right? So having that student mentality, guys, you gotta have that. You gotta make sure that you're learning from others who are, you know, where you're trying to get. Yep. And just having a student mentality is a real thing, you know, just show up to constantly learn. And one thing I've been telling all of my team is, because I notice with a lot of people when it comes to that student mentality, stop assuming things and get the facts, right? So a lot of people, they're assuming things. They're hearing about wholesaling and then they assume. They're hearing about why this don't work and then they're assuming. And then they're wondering why they're not getting the results, right? Go get the facts, right? Go get the facts. Make sure you got the answers. And the best way to do that is to talk to and connect with people who are getting results consistently, in the industry that you want to be in. So that student mentality is a major key. So now we got those out the way, right? The excitement. Notice I haven't spoken anything about the business of wholesaling yet, right?
We're not going to have time to probably get into that today.
We're getting into it, right? But the bottom line is having that high energy, that excitement for what you're doing, having that student mentality, and claiming victory before you even set off on your journey, right?
Yep.
So when we get there, you know, that's when we get to the 7 steps to success, right? It all connects, right? And my coach, Dan Bazine, he taught me that. He's like, anytime that you're separating your business from your personal, that doesn't make any sense. It's all one, right? So it's all one life, right? It's all alignment. So how your personal is going to be laid out and going is how your business is going to go. And how your business is going to go, how your personal is going to go. And that's kind of what I learned through my story, right? When my personal was going great, my business was going great. When my personal went to shambles, my business went down, right? So my advice is to monitor that, right? A lot of times if you're not getting the results that you desire to see, you just kind of in a emotion. A lot of us get an emotion of just working, but we're not realizing where we are internally. You know what I'm saying? Am I internally prepared for success? Am I internally prepared for the victory? And that's so important because like I was telling my crew when I used to always go in the store with them and outsell them, right? I would tell them, hey, listen, we're pitching all of the same people here, right? You're talking to 100 people. I'm talking to 100 people. Your energy is going to make a difference between you wondering why I'm finding the 4 sales and you're finding none. It's just attraction, right? It's just attraction. I'm excited about closing deals. I'm not so I don't have not closing deals. It's not an option. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not in my framework.
That's it. All right, I'm excited about closing deals. So when you get excited about closing deals, now let's talk about those 7 steps, right? So my first step is campaigning, right? When it comes to wholesaling, finding deals, finding investments, it's campaigning, right? Recruiting business. And I always tell people that the number one thing to pay attention to in your business is your inbound, outbound communications, right? If there's any pauses, stops, or breaks in your inbound, outbound communication, your business is on standstill, right? So you just need to focus on just recruiting. You shouldn't be focused on anything else but recruiting new business, right? Recruiting new business, word of mouth, right? Be a walking, talking billboard for your business. And then also you have to ask yourself, when you're sleeping, do you still have marketing working for you, right? Like how are deals coming in? How are opportunities coming in, right? So I talk about word of mouth. That's very important. Keeping the business on your tongue. Everybody that I talk to, I let them know what I do. I don't miss an opportunity to do so. I let them know if it's something they're interested in, I can help them. So now I'm building a never-ending, marketing team, right? Because I'm just letting them know what I'm involved with, and it's an opportunity for them, right?
Right.
I'm doing this word of mouth, but I'm also using social medias. All you guys know, you have to have your social medias branded and positioned for success, right? I understand a lot of us are using our social medias as a personal social thing, and that's fine, right? But you have to have your social media present. And I just learned this part not too long ago. I was having a lot of success before I even caught on to the branding aspect of social media, right? A branding person just found me like, hey, man, you got all this success. You got this story. Let me brand you, right? Let me position your brand for success and to be a 24/7 recruitment funnel. And I didn't even know nothing about it. But when she showed me what it was about, I'm telling you guys, make sure that your brand represents where you want your business to be, right? So you should be talking about you're looking for deals on social media, every channel. If you don't have consistent promotion or marketing saying you're looking for the next deal, you're not serious about this business. You need to be louder than everybody. You need to have your bandit signs. You need to have every form of marketing. My favorite form of marketing is direct mail. I do have cold callers in place, but I personally like to do a lot of direct mailing. My theory behind it is nobody's going to get a letter that's addressed to them without at least opening it up, right? So that's why I like the direct mail. And it's meditation for me. When I get ready, I try to do about 500 to 1,000 letters out per month on a good month. And I just get to sit down, play my favorite podcast, or play my music, and fold and seal letters. And then I hold them up to my ear like this when I got 500, and I say, "This is the money pack," and I throw it in the mailbox.
You handwrite 500 letters?
Say it again.
Did you say you handwrite 500 letters?
No, not handwrite. I'm saying the sealing process.
Okay.
Folding, sealing, and stamping them. I do that part myself.
Hey,
but no, I don't handwrite. I print them out ready, and then I got my labels. Those are printed out too, and I just package them up. And I send them out to sellers, and I make sure I just got them on the streets, man. And business just calls me, right? Out of nowhere. And I got one of my biggest clients from that in New York. I sent out a direct mail letter in 2019 on a property that I had wholesale on the east side. And he said he was an investor from New York. He was investing in Detroit, Charles Noonan. He's huge now, right? So he's like, hey, man, if you can do what you say on this first deal, I'm an investor in Michigan. I'll let you wholesale all of my properties. Nice. So I'm like, yeah, bet I can do it, right? So I sold that property for him very quickly, and the floodgates open with this guy, right? So this is a testament to not only just marketing, but the power of one letter.
Yep.
I probably sold between this guy and his network over from 2019 to now. I probably sold because he started the land bank team too, where he teaches. He has a community probably of about 500 people. We just did a conference in Birmingham, Alabama, building Birmingham, and he teaches all of them how to buy real estate from the land banks, right? And he funnels all of those people through me to sell all of their properties. So I probably have sold 100 properties just from this one guy and his network from a one direct mail letter that I
That's
sent
the power
out.
relationship, man.
Yeah,
Power
that's
relationship.
right, in 2019.
Hey, Byron, I hate to cut this off. We're a little bit past our time, but just so people can know that they're listening on here, how do they get in touch with you? How do they work with you? How do you coach them? I mean, what's the best way to reach out for you?
Most definitely. So it's a lot of ways. My resources are all in my link in bio. So Byron Gatsby on all platforms. On Instagram is Byron underscore Gatsby. I literally have all resources available for anybody who wants to connect and work with me. I have a digital guide, wholesaling real estate for beginners. That's available on my link in bio.
Cool.
I offer a free wholesaling checklist that gets it's mainly for beginners, kind of getting them on the right path. I
Nice.
also have my 7 Steps to Success course, right? That's available. Most people like to jump on a quick phone call just so they can get a full feel of what that relationship looks like. So all that's in my link in bio. And I
Cool.
always tell people I'm a regular human being. Shoot me a DM, right? Because just send me a DM and say, hey, what's up? I'm trying to get some money with you. Just say that, and you'll
That
catch
sounds
me.
good.
You'll catch me. You'll catch me fast because that's one thing, guys. Before we go, I just want you guys to remember that we're all human beings, and the number one thing that you want to hold on to, I could have went into a deep training course, and I almost did. I always went that route. But the number one thing I want you guys to hold on to from this interview is to keep that childlike spirit, keep that
Yeah.
excitement for what it is that you're doing. Be ignorance on fire. Stop trying to be perfect and thinking you have it all. And that's why I built my concept, do more, dwell less, right? Because I realized that as I train people and I ask them why they think they're not having success, it's never about the thing itself. It's always something that they're dwelling on that's just not the thing. That's why I just say, hey, do more, do more, do more,
Yep.
do more. You complain you haven't done anything yet. You know what I'm saying? And if you feel like you did it, do it 20 more times
Yeah.
until
Keep going.
until the results show itself. Otherwise, you're just quitting, right?
Right on.
So I should say, be excited. Maintain and have that student mentality, right? Maintain and have that student mentality. I shared a story on how getting away from that really took me down. Like I rebuilt my business ecosystem from scratch. I have
Awesome.
multiple companies that are successful now, and the thing that I carry the most is the humility, right? The student mentality, the protecting my energy, protecting my excitement, even in victory, right? So just
Perfect.
be consistent ultimately and stay tapped into and tuned into networks like this, the Investor Fuel Podcast, John. I'm super appreciative and thankful.
Yeah, man, I
You
loved having
guys
you on here. These are some of the hard parts. Is like when you get into some super great conversation. I'm like, we could probably be on here for an hour, but I have
Oh yeah, I mean, look,
restraints.
we could be on there for 3-4 hours.
Uh,
I get
uh,
excited about it, man. But I definitely appreciate the opportunity, and I'm pretty sure we will hop on and speak again. It's a
yeah,
lot
yeah,
more
no, 100%.
to discuss.
Guys, if you had a great show like I did, man, I hope you took some great notes. Reach out to this cat, man. He's got some good. Reach out. That's all I got to say. Hope you guys enjoyed it, Byron. Thank you again for your time today, man. And we'll see you guys on the next show.
Sounds
Cheers.
good. Thanks, John. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.